Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, and welcome to the Chubb Fellowship Lecture with our distinguished guest, Faith Ringgold, award-winning artist, author, educator, and activist. Today's program is generously supported by many units across Yale University's campus. We wish to thank African American Studies, American Studies, Ethnicity, Race, and Migration, History of Art, Women and Gender and Sexuality Studies, the Afro-American Cultural Center, Center for the Study of Race, Indigeneity, and Transnational Migration, the School of Art. And we especially wish to thank the Yale University Art Gallery for hosting today's lecture in this beautiful auditorium. So thank you, UAG. Before we begin, I ask that you turn off all cell phones and refrain from taking any photographs during the program so that you do not disrupt today's program. And once we get started, the lights will be fully dimmed. So just be careful of your surroundings when because the lights will be off. My name, by the way, is Mary Liu. I'm a professor in the Department of History and the program in American Studies. I'm also the current head of college for Timothy Dwight College. As the head of Timothy Dwight College, I have the honor of serving as the custodian of the illustrious Chubb Fellowship established in 1941 out of a prior large donation for education purposes made in 1936 by Hendon Chubb, a graduate of the Yale class of 1895. Since its establishment, the Chubb Fund has adhered to the goals of providing encouragement and aid to students interested in government and American public affairs. The fellowship initially aimed to foster among Yale undergraduates an interest in public service, in local and state affairs. It grew out over the years to include numerous distinguished visitors in national and international affairs, as well as leaders in the world of the arts and humanities. Since the 1940s, the Chubb Fellows Lecture Series has inspired generations of Yale undergraduates to undertake public service and pursue leadership roles in the hopes of creating a better world today and for posterity. The fellowship has hosted 4 U.S. presidents: George W. Bush, Gerald Ford, Jimmy Carter, and Harry Truman. In recent years, we've welcomed a wide range of national and international leaders, including environmental activist Bill McKibben, Ambassador Samantha Power, physician and humanitarian Dr. Hawa Abdi, renowned actor Shah Rukh Khan, and award-winning songwriter and musician Paul Simon. With this quick description of the history and aims of the Chubb Fellowship, I'm delighted that we are welcoming to Yale today the distinguished artist Faith Ringgold as our Spring 2018 Chubb Fellow. Joining Faith Ringgold today are members of her family and staff. Her daughter, Michelle Wallace, is a scholar of African American film and cultural studies. And she recently retired from City University of New York after a lovely career. Grace Matthews is Faith Ringgold's assistant. There she is. Kyle Matthews and Martha Whitehead are part of Faith Ringgold's Anyone Can Fly Foundation and true core volunteers. Yeah. We're delighted that you're all able to join us today. Born and raised in Depression-era Harlem, New York City, Faith Ringgold's career as an artist, educator, writer, and activist spans more than half a century, and as you can see, 60 years. She earned a bachelor's degree from City College of the City University of New York in 1955. She then taught art in New York City's public schools and worked on a master's degree at City College, which she completed in 1959. In the 1960s, as an art teacher in the New York City public schools, she began a series of paintings called American People that portrayed the civil rights movement from a feminist perspective. The paintings showed ordinary people, both black and white, confronting social barriers while attempting to forge relationships in their everyday lives. She also organized and fought for works of African American and women artists to be included in museums and galleries. She demonstrated against the exclusion of Black and female artists by New York's Whitney Museum of American Art and the Museum of Modern Art from 1968 to 1970. In 1971, Faith Ringgold co-founded Where We At, a Black women artists group. In the 1980s, she embarked on projects that employed the medium of the story quilt, rooted in African American communal traditions of quilting and storytelling that have been critical for connecting family stories and lives across many generations. Works such as the 1988 Tar Beach, Part 1 from the Woman on Bridge series, are currently in the Solomon R. Guggenheim Museum's permanent collection. And they make up some of her best-known masterpieces from this period. Faith Ringgold has also produced numerous public art projects, included Flying Home, Harlem Heroes and Heroines for the Metropolitan Transit Authority's 125th Street subway stop, for the Women's House, for the Rose M. Singer Center on Rikers Island, the Crown Heights Children's History Quilt at Public School 22 in Brooklyn, New York, along with many others around New York City as well as around the country. Since the 1990s, she has also written and illustrated many acclaimed children's books, such as Tar Beach, that was the Caldecott Honor Book and winner of the Coretta Scott King Award. She has helped young readers explore African American history through Aunt Harriet's Underground, Railroad in the Sky, one of my children's favorite books. Dinner at Aunt Connie's House honors civil rights activist Fannie Lou Hamer, Mary McLeod Bethune, Zora Neale Hurston, and many more famous Black women. If a Bus Could Talk, The Story of Ms. Rosa Parks won the NAACP's Image Award in 2000, and for adults, she has published her memoir in 1995 titled We Flew Over the Bridge, The Memoirs of Faith Ringgold. She's Professor Emeritus at the University of California, San Diego, where she taught art from 1987 to 2002. She is a recipient of more than 75 awards, including 22 honorary Doctor of Fine Arts degrees. She has received fellowships and grants from the National Endowment for the Arts, John Simon Guggenheim Memorial Foundation, New York Foundation for the Arts, and many more for painting and sculpture. And I'm now delighted that she can add the Chubb Fellowship to her long list of illustrious awards. I'm also pleased to say that the Hopper Windows Commission Committee, that is the Windows Commission Committee for Hopper College here on Yale's campus, and several members of which are with us today, including Head of College Julia Adams, has recommended that Faith Ringgold be the artist to design new windows for the Hopper Dining Hall. And again, Head of College Julia Adams is here, so this is very exciting news. And you are very much the first audience, the first public audience to hear this announcement. It's been circulating sort of privately on email this week, so it's very exciting to hear the announcement. We're looking forward to developing a conversation with Faith over the coming months. So Faith, that chapter will be continued. But for today, I'm delighted to celebrate her life's work and her many achievements and hear her talk, Anyone Can Fly. So please join me in welcoming Faith Ringgold to the podium.
Good evening. Thank you so much for inviting me and for you coming. This is a great honor. I'm so happy to be here. This is one of my favorite places. Back in the day when I was going to college, if you went to Yale, you were hot stuff, especially in art. Okay? So thank you. I'm here. All right. Okay, I'm going to In 1948, I made my first work of art that I considered complete and a finished work of art. And is that not, am I not doing it correctly? Oh, wait a minute, maybe that's the way. No? Nothing's moving. What am I doing wrong? There you go, back. I want to go back. Go back.
It's the button just below.
Just below?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
One more.
There you go. Yes. They taught me at the City College of New York. I was told when I was a young kid that when I graduated from high school, I was going to college. But I didn't know which college. So we walked down the street. We used to see these boys rushing out of the subway at 145th Street and Edgecombe Avenue in Harlem and going up the hill to Convent Avenue and down the street to the City College of New York. And I said, Mom, why can't I go there? Where are these boys going? She said, they're going to City College. And I said, well, why can't I go there? She said, well, you can. However, I didn't know it was a boys' school. And so when I got to be 18 in 1948 and went down to register at the City College of New York, that's when I found out that I couldn't go there. And I said, well, what are you talking about? They said, no, what do you want to be? And I said, be? You know, women didn't work in those days. I want to do art. They said, well, but no, you can't get a liberal arts degree here because this is a boys' school. So I just refused to hear that because all my life I had thought of doing that. However, somebody at the college said, look, she can do it. She can get a Bachelor of Arts in art education, and she can major in art and minor in education, and do her art and teach. And in a way, that was great because my family had a lot of teachers in it. They weren't too cool on the art. No, the art was a little, iffy. But the teaching was fine. And so I went to the City College of New York and got a bachelor's degree in art education and then a master's in a Master of Arts in art education. And I am so glad that that happened because I was able to teach children. And I hadn't planned to teach anything. I had planned to do art. But this way, I got a chance to find out how wonderful the children are. They are the best. And for those of you who teach them, I'm sure you know what I mean. The children, fabulous. Now, in 1948, I was 18, and I was a freshman at the City College, and we were learning about all kinds of art done in Europe, like still life and so on. And this was the first painting that I really thought was good, because the teachers would tear everything apart. But yeah, so this was my first oil on canvas. And I went on. What does that mean, a different button? Well, it's not happening. What the heck? Okay, nothing is happening here. I need to go on. More than 60 years making art. And all I'm getting is one piece. I don't know why it's not moving. I'm pushing buttons.
I can
What is that?
Just
Why is
let
that?
me know to go to the next one, okay?
Yeah. Oh, okay, okay, here. In one of my classes, design, well, we had a fabulous education at the City College in art. I think they really did a wonderful job on teaching us. And one of the things that we learned to do very well was to create design. I mean, all kinds, from design aspects from all over the world. And so, okay, here we got an assignment to create a playing card. Acrylic on paper, playing card. And most of the kids in the class, when we came back and we went to show our homework assignment, they had created a whole deck of cards. I said, wait a minute, what are you doing here? You were not supposed to make a deck of cards. You're supposed to do just one. And they said, we do what we want. And that was it. Everything was very competitive. And of course, the idea was they're going to make a deck of cards, and I'm going to come in with my one. And you know, City College was free. But not if you only going to do one and everybody else. You're going to be in trouble. So I said, okay, that's the way you all want to do it, huh? And I learned from that, don't ever go in with one of nothing. Make sure when you get in there, you can fill up the whole board with your stuff. And I did. Yeah, playing card, 1948. In the 1960s, I became a mature artist with the American People series and Black Light. The 1960s was a time when things changed in America and will never be the same. Much was for the better. However, there seems to be continuing longing for the one step forward, two steps backward that has been a time-worn American legacy since the 1600s. I became a mature artist. Okay, let's move on. Okay. Self-portrait. I went into this whole series of painting with stop signs and circles, and that was very prevalent in those days. Pop art was what they was saying it was, and oil on stretched canvas was my way of working, and I am cradling myself for the long haul ahead of me. I was trying very hard to show my life and to tell my story, because to me, that is what an artist is supposed to be doing, telling their story. What on earth? What's going on? Art is important because you can tell what happened to people all over the world at any time in their history from looking at their art. And I wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to help to tell the story of African Americans in America at the time when I was living, when I was alive. And I got that opportunity to do that by becoming an artist. This is the American People series, and which was started in 1963 and went on to 1967. This is actually an image of my brother, who died very early in his life, and I wanted to always remember him. He was such a sweetheart, but things were rough in those days, and he couldn't make it. He didn't make it. My poor brother, gone before his time, I think. I need to go faster, but I don't know how to get that happening. I became an artist because I wanted to tell my story as a black woman in America. We were in the height of the civil rights movement, and I wanted my art to be a witness to the changes that were taking place. It was then that I announced my arrival on the art scene as no longer emerging. I never liked that word, emerging. I was now a mature artist. If not me, who? If not now, when? In 1967, I had my first solo show at the Spectrum Gallery on 57th Street in New York City. And here I am, standing between friends actually this is a cross. Something linking women together so that there would be some kind of mutuality between us and not so much hate and destruction. This is the first painting in the American People series. I did in the summer a lot of parties to raise money for the civil rights causes like the NAACP. I was staying with my daughters and my husband in Provincetown, and it was very interesting what was going on there. The people there were colorful and interesting. Their images were unforgettable. I almost never forgot a face. They often show up in my paintings. Yes, I'm still looking. And things are getting more and more interesting. For members only, we were trying to go to what were we trying to get to? A park. This is the church school picnic. And these guys showed up to tell us, you're not supposed to be here. A lot of racism, a lot of prejudice in different neighborhoods and so on. And so I got a chance to experience all these things and to feel the power of being an artist to record what I saw. For members only. Well, you had to be a member, huh? Well, I couldn't be a member to all these things, absolutely. They wanted us to leave, we left. Have you ever had an experience like that? Well, actually, it never happened to me again, but I did have that first one. They told us to get the hell out of there. Neighbors, a lot of racism in the schools and in the neighborhoods and all, with people not wanting you to live next door or whatever. Could you make a painting of people who wouldn't want you to live with them? Would you want to? A family of people who want to keep it their way. These things have been difficult through the years, and I have tried to do what I can. Can I have that click again? The Civil Rights Triangle. The president of the NAACP back in those days was not black. I don't know whether you know that or not, but that's what the triangle is about. And I was right in the middle of it in that place where we went, Martha's Vineyard, where my mother had a friend, and I started these paintings because they were very important members of the NAACP. But there's a lot going on, and I wanted to record my feelings about it. Watching and waiting. People had to, wait their turns to see if they could participate in what is going. Who is the man at the door? He's standing there waiting for his chance to to be heard, to sit at the table, to participate. Who's watching and waiting? What for? Okay. This was Mr. Charlie. I think the idea was that he was a nice guy, so come on. Red, blue, and white arrows pointing downward suggested that things were not going to be all that great. Stop signs and all. And Mr. Charlie, see this man's hand on his heart and his smile? Red stop sign, red, blue, and white arrows pointing downward. Is he sincere? I think generally he might have been. But Mr. Charlie was big in 1964, okay? 63. And here is a whole pileup of guys with their hands over one of them's head, face. Why are these men piled up on top of each other? What does the position of their hands tell us? It's a way of keeping you down. Who's the man on top? How will he stay there? That is an interesting question that America continues to battle with. Some people want to be on top, and they will do anything to stay there. And it is unfortunate that we have still so much going on that prevents people from prospering, getting together and prospering. The American dream, all women want a ring like that and, you know, a guy to go with it. Yeah, that's top. Sorry. How can you achieve it? Well, we find a way, don't we? Yeah, yes, I think so. The American dream. All right. And I just made a, you know, black, white, whatever. Study now. Oh, that was important. A lot of young kids got into various schools that had previously prohibited black children going there. They would get in there and then they would forget about doing the work and they would flunk out. Study now. Don't forget. This painting is a message to students. See the 4 caution signs, huh? See the red arrow and yellow, red, and black stop sign? Why should you study now? Because if you don't, you're going to get thrown out. And that's not going to be pleasant for anybody. 3 men on a fence trying to decide which way should they go. What should they do? Should they do this? Could you make a picture about what you did? Have you ever sat on the fence? Could you make a picture about what you did? Look back on it. The family plan, huh? Some parents wanted their schools kept segregated. They had a plan to keep them segregated. For the most part, their plan worked. Could you make a picture of the kids at your school? Schools are still quite segregated, and they do it through the neighborhoods being segregated. Keep this neighborhood segregated, the schools can do it. God bless America. This was my very first flag painting. I was trying to make a picture that looked patriotic. Does she look patriotic? What is patriotism? All right? Yeah, I wanted to do that. Portrait of an American Youth. I think I already showed this one. Stop the red stop sign. What does this mean? Who is this young man? He reminds me of my brother, where his life was sort of set up for him. Two of these girls are my daughters, Barbara and Michelle, who are the other children. Well, they're kids they went to school with. Why are they hiding? And from whom are they hiding? Or are they just simply playing? I wanted to show them playing, trying to be friends, trying to avoid the racism that followed children, that follows, continues to follow children everywhere. Woman looking in a mirror. Okay, yeah. See the watercolor, which the plants, with the plants outside, and the moon, what? Peeking through the leaves. This is a beautiful night, and she is a beautiful woman. Can you paint a woman looking in the mirror? And who is she, by the way? She you? Yeah, this was fun to do. The artist and his model. There were a lot of artists at that time who thought they had an idea about what kind of people I should paint. Don't paint this, don't paint that. I do what I want. Yeah. And there was imagery that they thought was perfect and correct, and imagery that they thought was not. And I thought I could do what I want. What do you think of this ongoing debate now? Black or just American? I mean, it was a lot of discussion about whether you should paint black people. Or who are the black people? Well, I can decide, and I can make what I want. And I did. Why is our flag bleeding? Yeah, the flag is bleeding. Why is it bleeding? It's bleeding because our liberties are damaged to some extent. Our freedom is in trouble. It was so difficult painting that blood. And if you've never tried painting blood, try it. It really feels dangerous. Then all of a sudden, in 1967, somebody yelled, "Black Power!" Oh my God, everybody got very upset. Black power, I mean, black and power, these two don't go together. Something's wrong. And you see here, what do you see written in the horizontal? Put your head on the right. What do you see? All right. That's the power. And the black power was something that somebody yelled out. Who was it? Pardon me? Stokely Carmichael. Yeah, that was a very big day when that happened. What happened here? Oh, I'm doing it. Okay. Oh my God, that's funny. Oh. Yeah. Okay, the Black Light series. Okay, now this is, I've done, what? What's going on?
I got you.
You got me?
I got you.
Well, this is my computer. So now, and this is the subway on 120, Fifth Street, and this is this whole series, the Black Light series, in which I wanted to change my use of colors, and then Die, which was the last of the American People series, was Die, which is now in the collection of the Museum of Modern Art. after 50 years, I did it 50 years ago, and they now have it because I loved Picasso and his Guernica, and we used to go there. I used to take my daughters there, and we would look at Guernica and so on. And in my series of American People, I wanted to do a spontaneous street riot because there were so many. They would happen. Spontaneously, a riot would break out. And you would be in the middle of it. You'd have to get the hell out the way. And blood would be in the street. And when you got home, nobody would have seen it on television. And it wouldn't be in the newspaper the next day. They just act like it didn't happen. Amazing. And so I thought, I'm going to do a painting showing a spontaneous street riot. And it was inspired by Guernica, which I used to look at all the time, Picasso's painting. And I tried to, Chase Manhattan Bank, David Rockefeller sent a group to my studio to buy my first painting from a bank, from Chase. And I showed them those paintings that you just saw, and they just said, oh my God. We can't take any more, we have to go. And okay, so, but I knew that David Rockefeller was going to send them back, so go ahead. So they went, and when they came back, I showed them the Black Light series. What was that? Go back. Could you go back one? Wait. Yeah, there we go. And they wanted to buy this, and my mother said, okay, listen, now, look, they're coming back, they're going to buy something, show them something they can buy. Think about it, it's a bank, okay? It's a bank. You got to, think about that. And so I did, and they liked it, and they said, they call it the American Spectrum. No, I called it the American Spectrum. They wanted to call it what? They had an idea to call it. I was trying to show America with all its different shades of people. And anyway, they bought it. That's the key. Now, titles mean a lot in art. You got to be very aware of the fact that many people buy a painting based on the title. Very interesting, I thought. And for years I used to go to the Chase, and right outside the president's office would be that painting hanging there. And that was nice, I liked it. By 1967, we had reached the Black is Beautiful, Black Pride, Black Power segment of the civil rights movement of the 1960s. I wanted to create art to show the Black is Beautiful skin tones of Black people. We Black people had never been called beautiful before, but there was a raging, Black is beautiful. Okay, I'll go for it. A Black image in a Black background, like a white image in a white background, is invisible without tonal variations. So my paintings would be dark but not black. I had to add some small amount of white pigment to my colors to give them opacity. Then I could add the black pigment to darken my colors. This was wonderful. I loved working this way. It was magic how dark colors looked black against the white canvas, but when placed next to each other, dark colors were clearly visible. You could see them much better. I was entranced with the results. I created the following 12 canvases, which I call Black Light, Black Paintings of Black People. And this one, Big Black, was the first one. Yeah, black is the presence of all color. White is the absence of color. And I worked with those ideas in my color for many years, and I still do. Except I stopped working in oil paint because I was allergic, you know. Yeah, it's a lot of artists got sick from using oil paint, and acrylic paint became very important. And so I went on and on in order to make and create clearly defined abstract shapes. Can you make a face by using abstract shapes and flat colors? Try it. Black light, I called it. Soul sister. I can't think of a more liberating time in my life than the 1960s. It was then that I learned to wear my hair natural. Oh, that's when the natural hair. No more hot combs in my hair. Black is beautiful. Black pride and black power, all in one gesture. Now everybody's got their hair all, wow. Don't have to worry about that anymore. What is it?
5.
You got 5 what?
5 minutes.
Excuse me?
5 minutes.
5 minutes? Well, let's see what you got. Mommy and Daddy, let's move on. More black light, Mommy and Daddy, 1969. Keep going. Who's got the thing?
Just tell me next, and I'll go next.
Okay, next. And there's Di.
You got it here.
Oh, here. Can I push that? Where can I push?
Let's go to 29, I think is where we left off almost. You can push right here. See this button?
Okay, good.
That'll go forward.
All right, great. Black art poster. Oh, the black art poster. The Schaumburg Library got that because it's a library in Harlem and they didn't own anything of mine. So I gave them that. And I was in there just recently and looking for it. You know, it's very difficult to find that. I got to go back and find it. Can you make a picture to express yourself without name calling? Okay, I don't know, red nigger, white nigger. Oh, there was a lot of niggers yelling in those days. And I wanted to say it's not appropriate. Unless you are a nigger, don't say nigger, okay? You're one, okay. Not one, don't do it. The American Spectrum. Okay, this is the one that the Chase bought. Flag for the moon, die nigger. I'm not sure who owns that now. Somebody does. You remember, Grace?
Still for sale.
What?
It's still for sale.
Oh, it is? Okay. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Still for sale, huh? Yeah. All right, here we are. U.S. America Black. I just wanted to do party time. I wanted people dancing. The 1970s, in the 1970s, I discovered my roots in African art and began to paint and create art specific to my identity as a black woman. I made dolls and masks inspired by my painting. I began to write. Oh, no, I did this for the Women's House. I got Singer Center for the Women's House. Yeah, oil on canvas. Well, the men thought they didn't like it very much when they moved in and the women moved to the Women's House. And they painted over it in White House paint. That was a problem. Yeah, that wasn't nice. They said they got tired of looking at those bitches, okay? Yeah, so, but I called the head of the prison center, and he had raised $25,000 and had that painting restored. And now you would never know that it had been painted over with White House paint. And it is now going to be in the collection of the Brooklyn Museum, not going back to the prison. No, yeah, that was hard. Okay, let's see what's going on. Oh my God. I have done so many different kinds of kinds of painting. And these are the Tonkas that I discovered, and these are my dolls, which I actually discovered making dolls in Africa. And here is the mosaics, Harlem Heroes and Hell. What? Go back where? Oh, go back where? Okay.
Let's go back to...
Okay. Here.
Masks and the dolls.
Yes, masks and dolls are really fun, and I loved making them. I like to work in different media, huh? We Flew Over the Bridge, a memoir. Oh, I wrote my memoir in 1980, had it published, and it was very difficult getting that to happen. And then the masks, freedom of speech, commissioned by the Constitution Center to celebrate the 200th anniversary of the Bill of Rights. And it is in the collection of the museum, of the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Here's the subway in Harlem. Yeah, so I've had a lot of opportunities to do many things. And the idea is, when you get an opportunity, do it, and don't turn down any opportunities. That's one thing that's very important to learn as you're in college. Don't decide that you shouldn't do it. Yeah, this is 125th Street and what, Lenox Avenue? Yeah, these series of people portraits. 52, now, oh no, the 52 mosaics was done for the Civic Center in California. That was fun. 52 images, huh? Yeah, I wanted to create imagery of people walking in the subway, all different kinds of people, dancing, performing, playing music, whatever, playing different sports. Yeah, and I won that commission, Mosaics Commission, in California. So if you're ever in LA, go see it. 52 images. Yeah, making mosaics is really fun. I painted the images and Mother did the quilt. Oh, this is Echoes of Harlem, my first quilt. I started writing on my second one, Who's Afraid of Aunt Jemima? See the story I wrote? And I wrote that story because I had written my autobiography and couldn't get it published. And I said, I know what I'll do. I'll write on my art. And when they see the art, they'll read the story. That I can do. I mean, I will not allow somebody to decide what my story is. I will write it. Sonny's quilt. And on, Woman on the Bridge. This is at Crystal Bridges right now, Museum of American Art in Bentonville, Arkansas. And here I am with Oprah and Maya. Oprah commissioned this painting for me to do Maya. That was really nice of her, but she doesn't believe in having anybody see the work. Fortunately for me, well, some people buy a work of art and they want to hide it from the world after, you know, and that's not fair. But it's at Crystal Bridges now, the museum, and there I am in front of it, and that's good. Yeah, because the work, Woman on a Bridge, 2 of 5, Double Dutch on the George Washington Bridge, sold by the Ellie Flomenhof Gallery. And here is Dancing of the Loup, the whole French collection. I went to France on several occasions and wanted to do a tribute to the artists that I learned about. The American collection, the French collection, so many artists that became important in my life who I learned about at school. Denzel Washington, Invisible Princess cover. And my books, my children's books, very important. And here are a collection of them. Yeah, the first offer I got was to do Tar Beach. And a lot of people said, you know, artists don't make children's books. And at City College, they never taught us illustration. But when I got an offer to create a book with Tar Beach, I was taught, don't turn down any opportunities. And I didn't. And it was my first book, and now I've done 19, and I'm still going, coming up with more. Yeah. And here I am with my husband. He's in a nursing home now, so keeps me a little confused. If any of you have anybody in a nursing home, you know that's kind of difficult. But without him, I wouldn't be standing here because I wouldn't have been able to quit my job teaching. Huh? No. I would have had to continue without a doubt. Coming to Jones Road. Here's my great-great-grandmother, Susie Shannon. She lived to be 110. Isn't that something? That is so amazing. She always has done. Coming to Jones Road, part 1, when we moved to New Jersey, so that I could open a bigger studio, because as an artist, you know, you outgrow a studio. You fill it up, and then you need another one, bigger. And so then I moved to, my neighbors thought I was trying to open up a rooming house or something. I couldn't understand why they thought that. But it didn't matter. You know, they were going to try to keep me from moving in, but I got in anyway. So I did a tribute to them, Coming to Jones Road. We just keep a coming. Yeah. Yeah. We just keep a coming. Sorry. Under a blood-red sky, commissioned by the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Huh? Yep, that's right. And there's Bertie, dedicated to you. I had to dedicate it to him because without him, we couldn't have moved to Jones Road because I couldn't afford that. Yeah. We're here on Emmy Got Us Now, Coming to Jones Road, acrylic on canvas, a symbol of freedom. To a couple trying to get married. They had to secrete themselves in the woods in order to get married in those days during slavery. Escape to Freedom, Harriet Tubman. I went to give tribute to some of these women who were so heroic during those days. Martin Luther King. Wonderful. Framed in a Tonka. Mother made this Tonka for me, and I didn't have a painting ready for it. And she said, oh, that doesn't matter. It doesn't need a painting. You could just hang the Tonka by itself. She was too much. Oh, my. She's too much. Mama can sing, Papa can blow. All artists did jazz pictures of some kind. And I hadn't done any until 2000 something. I hadn't made a jazz picture. Yeah, something like that, right? Yeah. And it's really very popular for artists to create jazz pictures. Somebody stole my broken heart. And now I'm making lots of quilts. And a letter from Martin Luther King, while confined here in Birmingham City Jail. He was told, you know, why are you coming here causing trouble? That's why you're in jail. So he did that series of letters, and I got asked to illustrate them. And I did. That was a great fun. And it turned out to be, I think, 8 books by a print workshop. The right to vote. There were counties without a single Negro registered to vote. You look back on these times. Oh, wow. Police brutality viewed through stained glass windows. Who worships here? Who is their God? Martin Luther King. This is the subjects that he sent to this minister who said, why are you here causing trouble? That's why you're in jail. And he said, I'm here, and he expressed some of the things that had happened in America that made him get arrested. Police brutality, viewed through stained glass windows. For more than 2 centuries, our foreparents labored in this country without wages. And here is the bus boycott. Now, this one here probably is it's the Declaration of Independence, because it was created, interesting, at a time when there was still slavery in America. And so I did this series of paintings. I have borne 13 children and seen most all sold off to slavery. And when I cried out with my mother's grief, none but Jesus heard me. And ain't I a woman? That's when they said, all men are created equal. I added, and women? Ain't I a woman? Speech presented by Sojourner Truth in 1851 in Akron, Ohio. This was so fun to do. And there's the painting. Okay. Yeah, this was a very wonderful experience doing it. Absolute tyranny. Understanding this. What could I say? Also, absolute tyranny. What was going on? A lot with the people hanging from the trees. Taxes on us without our consent. Taxes on us. Oh my goodness. We have appealed to their native justice and magnanimity. Frederick Douglass. I was brought up to understand that in America, my freedom was not more than a promise that would be a struggle and could be, in many instances, denied. These are all things I really wanted to do art about. Yes, we can, and we did. Yeah. It's too bad we couldn't have our first woman president. Maybe we wouldn't have so many problems like we have today. But what can I say? We didn't do it. Somebody didn't do it. I did. I went and voted for her. No, I did. I'm sorry. I voted for her. I voted for him, I voted for her. Unfortunately. Yes, indeed. Now, this is a sculptor who did this at some museum and asked different people to paint the sculpture. And I painted these and gave them to him of Obama. I'm wondering, just has he ever seen this? Well, you don't know. I don't know what he has. Flag stories. Now, the flag stories I did because I woke up one morning and there were planes flying into these buildings. And I thought it was some kind of advertisement, but it wasn't. It was 9/11. On Tuesday morning, we faced the devil in the sky and told him that freedom will never die. And I couldn't believe I was seeing what I was seeing. And I just kept doing these flags because I was just overwhelmed. Oh, my goodness. I couldn't believe it. My darling, we are facing the devil in the sky, a hateful man with a terrible plan that all of us shall die. Oh my, this was such a frightening morning. On Tuesday morning, you called me from the burning sky. Your searing words of pain will forever remain encrusted in my heart. My darling, we are facing the devil in the sky, a hateful man with a hellish plan for all of us to die. There is a mountain in every valley, but is there a safe haven in the sky? If so, we will try. If not, my darling, I love you. Goodbye. That was a horrible morning when these people were dying on these planes, and oh my God, it was too much, a lot. Tuesday morning, 9/11. I hope that never happens again. I just kept making flags. I didn't know what else to do. Well, do tell. 9/11, suicide bombers in heaven. We think not. Heaven's not where they're at. There's been a huge mistake, but for heaven's sake, what's a little sin? We'll get you in, and we can double date them in hell. Yeah, the idea of that whole thing was just cuckoo. Freedom flag. So you're the 19 men we've been waiting for. Well, I'm the devil, and here's what hell has in store. 90 bitches on a bed of coals and 1,000,000 hags with tortured souls. Serial killers, assassins, rapists, murderers, and more. With an eternity of time for you to enjoy and enjoy. And that's what happened on 9/11. When 19 suicide bombers went to hell. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, this was such a day. It was too much. I just couldn't stop. I couldn't believe it, and then after I began to believe it, I couldn't stop doing it. And I made this series for the ACLU of posters, Channel 13. And, okay. We could have some questions now. Good? Okay.
Hi, thank you so much. That was just wonderful. I spoke to you earlier. I've been an art educator for years, and every child who ever sees your work celebrates it and loves it, and the messages are so fantastic. I just wondered if there was ever a subject that you would like to cover that you've never painted or quilted.
I can't think of one at this point because I'm 87. So there used to be some, but not anymore. No, I got a chance, and I've done everything I want to do. I'm working on my game, Quiltaduco. And if you know Sudoku, how many people know Sudoku? Well, Quiltaduco is a lot like it. You just go on iTunes, and what's the other, Google Play, and type in Quiltaduco, Quiltuduco, and you can play my game. It's so fun because with Sudoku, when you get finished, the only thing you've got are 81 numbers. And you throw that paper out. But with Quiltaduco, you've got a poster you can put on the wall. Okay? It's going to be fun.
What's your favorite thing about art?
I like the power of creativity, that I am able to create something out of my own imagination that has never been done before by me. That's what I like about it. It gives you a feeling of power that is very memorable. I love creating art. And I love my art. Yeah, I do. I love it. I don't try to please other people with my art. I'm happy when they are pleased, but as an artist, I think it's important that you love what you're doing. You love it, because you have no idea what other people want. Okay?
Thank you for the pleasure of an afternoon of beautiful, beautiful work.
Thank you.
Well, I want to ask a very serious question at this time.
Okay.
Because as a nation, we're in deep, deep trouble.
Yeah.
And I wonder if you think that replacing the arts in the curriculum will help reduce school shootings.
What? Replacing the art in the curriculum?
Putting the art back.
Oh, putting art back into...
Yes.
That's interesting. I'm wondering if children are losing their sensibility, their... What? You think that's the reason why they're shooting each other?
And their love for themselves.
And love, yes, for humanity, for the world, for creativity, for, yeah, I don't know. Is the art out of the schools completely at this point? No. It's coming out, it's going down though,
Yes.
Right? Unfortunately, you know, children have such an ability to create art when they're little. And to be denied that opportunity is sinful. So that if they don't get it in school, as parents, you have to make sure they get it at home, because it's in them. I know they're not getting the music either, huh? They're not getting the music? They are getting the music? Okay. Okay. Well, what can I say? That's unfortunate. If they are being denied the ability to be creative and to tell their story.
I wasn't going to speak, but I'm very compelled right now. I'm an art teacher, and I'm a survivor of the Sandy Hook school shooting. And 5 years ago, I got to meet Faith Ringgold. And she validated so much of what I had experienced. And I came to her because it was Tar Beach that allowed my students to fly above the pain and the horror. And I can't say enough about how you have influenced, to this day, you are influencing children's idea of what it is to create and to be and to fly. And I can't thank you enough for that. And I'm humbled.
Well, thank you. Yes. If anyone can fly, all you got to do is try. That's right. Thank you very much for telling me that.
Yeah, so I guess as someone who now for a very long time has not only been a part of but shaped conversations on race and gender and belonging, I think a couple of people have commented on the fact that certainly in America, but I think the world in general, it has, it never had its way to begin with, but is certainly more wayward than it's been in a while. And I'm wondering what you have to share about being in the center of that conversation for a world which doesn't want to be having it right now.
Well, you just have to be forceful and find ways that are unique to you to bring love and truth into the world, and especially to the children. They have a right to embrace the world as children. They need to have the world open to them, to have opportunity to learn. And without it, oh my God, that is so awful. I can't imagine how it must be to not be able to see the world as so many of us have taken for granted. Because as you get older, you're going to become more and more aware of what you have missed. Let's hope it doesn't continue. But we have to do something about it. And I would think that one thing we could do is get rid of what's going on at the White House. Yeah, I mean, the children can't do that. Somebody's got to do it. And, how unfortunate. I mean, I just think about how I would feel if as a child I had had somebody in the White House like that. It must be horrible. Just think about it. So we can change it, though. If we get together, we can do it. I think so. Do you agree? Yes. Okay. All right. Anybody else? Yes?
Can I impose on you? I would like for you to autograph a book of yours.
Yeah.
So I would like to once more thank the wonderful Faith Ringgold and
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.